Here's what we want to do. Let's give a great SGI, you're already on your feet, standing ovation for Mr. Ray Seggern. Would you do it? Come on, Ray, come on up.
Wow, thanks, Paul. All right, standing up. Yeah, all right, good. It's already got the standing ovation. Thank you. Good night. No. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Oh, that's great. I love it when you nail it on the first time. So I guess, if you read the description of my session this morning, it's building a brand of distinction. And the key word in there is distinction. How do we make ourselves truly distinct in the marketplace? But also an important word in there is brand as well, because one of the things that I hope we'll be able to accomplish this morning is to get us all on the same page about what does it mean to build a brand and how does that work, how do the puzzle pieces fit in relation to your direct response marketing, and how is the brand more than just your advertising campaign in your website, but how does it also link to your operations? How does it link to these ambassadors, right, that you've got out in the field? These guys are carrying your reputation with them where they go, so we have to make sure that we include that as part of the process as well. So I guess if you're of a certain age or a fan of pop culture, you know that we're about to go into the Wayback Machine, yes? Right? We remember this from the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, right? We've got Sherman and Peabody, soon to be featured in a major motion picture coming out soon. And what's interesting, I actually hopped in the Wayback Machine with for a talk I did for a bunch of Canadians recently. And I said, well, everybody knows who this is, right? And they all looked at me and go, huh? What? And come to find out, I don't know if you're obviously, Sherman and Peabody were on the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, which they also shared with Dudley Do-Right, right? The Canadian Mountie. And apparently, and I just found this out back in January when I did this, that Rocky and Bullwinkle didn't play so much in Canada. It played in very small amounts in Canada originally anyway, because the television programmers didn't like the characterization of the Canadian Rocky Mounted Police. So not as much Rocky and Bullwinkle in Canada. So the Wayback Machine, for our purposes this morning, we're talking about advertising and marketing and branding. I thought it would be fun to go back in the Wayback Machine through the 50s and 60s and 70s, at a time when advertising was perhaps a little more primitive. Maybe some of you guys watched the TV show Mad Men, and you've seen some of what it was like in the 60s with advertising. Some of you will remember some of these ads. Some of them will be new to you. I'll say a couple of things going in. One would be, as we look at some of these samples, and they're merely just to kind of break the ice and have some fun on a Friday morning, diving into this thing as well. Let's not take it too seriously. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. Some of these ads could be offensive to you. If they offend you, I'm sorry. And I don't mean I'm sorry for playing. I mean I'm sorry you're offended, because we're just here to have a little fun this morning getting going. So let's dive in and look at some samples of what passed as conventional wisdom in advertising early on. And so we'll start with more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Yeah. Here's a good one, hay fever relief. Radium would be the cure for hay fever relief. And then this one, this will have you scratching your head for a little bit. For Blatt's Beer, how mom and baby picked up, making the argument that a case of Blatt's Beer in your home means much to the young mother, and obviously baby participates in the benefits as well. All right. And as it argues, the malt in the beer supplies nourishing qualities that are essential at that tender time for the infant, yes. For a better start in life, start cola earlier. All right. Cocaine tooth drops, probably work actually. And then women had it tough there for a while, you know. There's some of these ads, it shows you kind of how far we've definitely come, right? This next one, apparently if you were too skinny or too heavy, you couldn't get it either way, because they were going to market some solution to you that would help you out whether you were too skinny or too heavy. And what's funny here, you know, obviously it shows how far we've come, you know, and the thing that we would look at now that would be deeply offensive if we saw this as marketing today, at the time was considered effective advertising. The chef does everything but cook. That's what wives are for. Whoa, hold on now. We got some women in the room who are them's fighting words. Hold on. And so this would just humor me here for a second. This is from a company called Dormarts. Wives, look this ad over carefully. Circle the items you want for Christmas. Show it to your husband. If he does not go to the store immediately, cry a little. Not a lot, just a little. He'll go. And then, of course, you see there's a little line for the husbands at the bottom as well. Husbands, look this ad over carefully. Pick out what your wife wants. Go buy it before she starts to cry. So, yeah, come on, ladies. The vacuum cleaner for Christmas? Really? And apparently, the harder a wife works, the cuter she looks. Now, these next two took a whole lot of gall, I think, to run. So, Eastern Airlines here is presenting the ads. These are the women who weren't good enough to be the Eastern Airlines flight attendants. Ooh. Now, they say Eastern Airlines says we want everyone to fly, but is Eastern Airlines still in business? No. And this one right here, I mean, it just took a gigantic set of balls to run this ad, I think, right? To put a man's picture, and he suffers from menstrual cramps. And what he's saying is that he suffers when his wife has menstrual cramps. And then you'll come back to smoking. Smoking is the thing, I think, where you look at these ads now, considering, because it's really, we've come so far in the evolution of what the Federal Trade Commission and the FDA would allow for advertising. But obviously, you got Rock Hudson there, you got Bob Hope, rocking the Chesterfields. And then this one kills me. If it wasn't for Winston, I wouldn't smoke. Well, no kidding, Sherlock, right? And then Winston, of course, we talk about, I started off with the Wayback Machine. The way that they integrated advertising into TV programming was interesting as well. So maybe we bring down the lights on this next one a little bit, but this one's kind of fun.
They sure work hard, don't they, Barney?
Yeah? I hate to see them work so hard.
Yeah, me too. Let's go around back where we can't see them.
Gee, we ought to do something, Fred.
Okay? How's about taking a nap?
Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break.
That's it! Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend.
Yeah, Fred. Filter blend makes the big taste difference, and only Winston has it up front where it counts. Here, ahead of the pure white filter. Winston packs rich tobaccos specially selected and specially processed for good flavor in filter smoking.
Yeah, Barney, Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
The Flintstones.
All right.
Has been brought to you by Winston.
So yeah, obviously you look at that in black and white, and it kind of jumps out at you that clearly this is something from a different. It's a relic of a different era. Obviously, they're not putting the Winston ads on the DVD box set, Question though, this next ad is obviously not from the 50s, and we talk about what's acceptable, what's offensive in advertising, what's controversial, huh? So I'm going to look for a couple of people. I'm going to look for 3 people to stand up quickly. And here's the thing. We could argue whether that's offensive or not. We could argue whether it's acceptable or not. We could argue whether it's effective or not. But what year did that run? Would somebody stand up and just take a guess, maybe up close here? They're all the guesses are going to be wrong except one, so thank you for being brave. 2000. Guess? 99? 2002? 1957, and we'll end on that one. Thank you very much. Yeah. So you guys are actually, so the ad first appeared as a billboard. If you've flown in or out of San Francisco Airport, you recognize those hills behind there. And according to the San Francisco Gate, which I pulled January 26th of 2014, if you go down under the headline where it says Persons of Heft Protest Health Club's ad, you see that it ran in 1999. So yeah, very good. Okay. Yeah, all right. So going through those ads, again, the point was, the main thing that I wanted to show you guys was that what's acceptable and what our idea of what works in advertising evolves over time.